Hello friends and welcome into the channel. Welcome back to my mat. So excited to be here today, friends. Love this design we're gonna do today. I hope you find some beady inspiration to make a gorgeous split single strand necklace yourself. What a gorgeous necklace style this is, my friends, for this timeless devotion. Oh, I am telling you, I knew when I curated this bag that I was gonna do a split. And I have not done one in a while. What also, guys, you know what's really great about a single split is that they're so elegant and gorgeous, so beautiful for the upcoming holiday season, but also they are just beautiful when you use all crystals. And we have plenty of blingy crystals in this bag to work with. So really excited. So thank you guys again so much for being here. We're in project mode, project 4 for my Timeless Devotion Sparkle Bag, my 4th project. And if you are stumbling across this video and not yet subscribed, please get subscribed and join this beautiful community. Appreciate you guys. And don't forget to hype my videos. Let's talk about what a split is, shall we? And just dive right in. Why don't we just dive right into making beautiful jewelry today? My friends, basically, essentially, what a split is we have one continuous piece of beading wire, and we are going to feed beads on it or something, right? A dangle, whatever, in the center, and then essentially split the strands in 2 directions. So when we're crimping them off, what happens is they end up becoming like an independent strand of each other, and they look like 2 different necklaces, but really it's one continuous necklace. It's just the most beautiful, and it's guys, it's not only a beautiful design, it's a technique. It's beginner friendly. You guys are gonna love this. So let me walk you around what you need. You can use any beads you want, okay? But let me tell you what I'm using today. So bead stringing wire, friends, we're gonna start there, is bar none in a split. Very important, and I would arguably steer clear of any 7-strand and tiger tail, right? Tiger tail or any 7-strand brand. A split needs to be very flowy. You need to have maximum flexibility and maximum movement for a split technique to come out perfect, particularly when you're using crystals. Now, you can use any beads, but when I'm using crystals, and I have a lot of teeny tots here, I've got 4mm and 3mm, they're very lightweight. So I really need that maximum flexibility to get the desirable result. So I am using today the Beadsmith 21 strand. I love this particular wire. It's honestly, guys, you know, one of my favorite wires. I have several favorites. You guys have been with me a long time, you know. But this Beadsmith 21 strand is so beautiful. It's just a beautiful, flexible wire. I just absolutely love it. So that's what I'm using for today. I will show you. There we go. And it's in 0.018 inch, okay? So this is one of my preferred when I'm doing anything that's really needing a lightweight wire, or, you know, lightweight beads. So that's what I'm using. The other thing, friends, is I am going to use a ball and head pen for our dangle. Also, both the tarnish resistant craft wire and the ball and head pin will be for our dangles. And then, of course, I'm using some jump rings. I have one that's closed, 3 open, and those are in 6mm and a lobster clasp. I'm going to do a little chain extender on the back, make a dangle on the back as well. And the beads I'm using, my friends, are some 4mm bicones, 3mm in the lavender blush, and some of the cuboids here. So beautiful, and we're gonna work with those first. Another thing, friend, that's really important, a bead stopper in a single split, okay? Split technique, you'll definitely need a bead stopper. It is your best friend in this, and our standard tools. So let's get to it, friends. You can make this any length. I do prefer a shorter single split. So I usually go 16, 18, 20. You can even go, I've even gone 21, 22. That is my preferred length because I like it to be higher up on the neck. It's such a stunning design. So it just, when it frames the neckline, oh my God, I'm telling you guys, it's just stunning. So I caught myself a little bit more than 20 inches of beading wire obviously leaving myself enough room to crimp, okay? So I intend to make a 20-inch today, so cut your beading wire length according to whatever size you want. And I've taken most of my teeny tots off of my strand here. We are basically, let me give you a little visual real quick, guys, and then we'll dive right into construction here. Essentially, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have these 3 cuboid drops. The bicones are going to be going up either side here. And then I'm going to have a lavender blush in between. And then on the back of the neck, we are going to have a bunch of these teeny tots. They're really going to be just perfect because they're soft and tiny, be very soft around the back of the neck. So that's what essentially we're going to do. Okay, I also have, I think, a bead cap here and a couple of crimp tubes. That's what we're working with. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I am going to use my ball and head pen to do a dangle. This will be my bottom. We're going to do 2 more components to add to this one. The reason is because the first thing we need to do is establish our split, right? So whatever you're putting here, we need to put it there first in order to establish our split. So we will start off utilizing the dangles. So I'm gonna get you zoomed in here. We're just gonna do a couple of wire wrap components and get this beauty going. Get you. Okay, so I've wire wrapped that bottom one. And now I'm going to grab some of my craft wire and we're gonna make 2 more components. And again, I'm gonna wire wrap everything here, friends, because that'll give me less chance that it's going to come off my bead stringing wire and keep everything nice and secure. So we're just gonna do some wire wrap loops on the last 2 here. So we will go in down with our chain nose, go down a little bit, and we'll put a right bend in, and then we'll come in with our round nose, go into that bend, come up and around with the wire, pivot the tool, push that wire to the back, and we'll go ahead and open that up, and I will attach it right to the first one I made there. We will close the door and wrap it up. And then we'll trim. We'll feed a cuboid on, and then we will put a bend in the wire, and again come in here with our chain round nose, excuse me, and we'll come up and over, pivot the tool, push the wire to the back, and wrap it up. And then we're going to do this one more time, oops, with the last cuboid. So now I have my 3 components wire wrapped to each other and then just strung that right down my bead stringing wire. So this will now begin the construction of establishing our split. Now, the second most important thing, friends, about a single split technique, I mentioned the bead stringing wire selection is a very important part of this technique. The second is most certainly going to be having small beads to establish your split here. And the reason we want to do that is because if we do not have a bead that is small enough, that can lay next to each other, they will vie for attention. And I'm going to show you right now what I'm talking about. So notice I put a bicone down each strand. Now, do you notice that they're going to lay fine, right? But in order to establish our split, we're going to put our wires together. And we need a small bead. Or we could put a big bead here, but we need a small bead on that split. Because, here, there you go. So you can tell that if I put that bead down any further, that these are vying for attention. We want them to be snug right next to each other, right? And as well as up here when we are going up either strand. So the selection of your beads is a very important part in terms of what you're going to put down there at the split. So I'm going to do one of the bicones, and then I'm going to put down each of my wires here. I'm going to randomly select these 3 millimeters, and I'm going to put one down each of my wires. Okay, then I will put my strands together, and I will put another bicone. I may need to up my game on the beads, but let's see. So that's what I have, okay? Do you notice what I mean? Do you see how those teeny tots right there, they lay right next to each other? They're not going like, this is what we do not want. We don't want that, where they're vying for attention, right? We want them to lay right next to each other. So you really want to select some beads that are really, really small, some seed beads, tiny spacers, whatever you can right there, that will make that look seamless, that bottom section right there. We just want that to look seamless, okay? Now, another thing we can do, let me remove all these beads. In order to start it out, is we can start it out with the split. So there's a couple ways you can do it. Say we want to start out with the split, then let's put our wires together and feed that bicone down both wires. Okay, and then we'll see. If we push that all the way down snug on top of that wire wrap loop, if we're good. I get my wires uncrossed. Or is there any gaps? Do I need a bigger bead? So you can also start your split like that, okay, which I think is what I'm gonna do, okay? And you can barely see any bead stringing wire here, okay? So you can also start it like that, and now similarly down each strand, I will do what I was just talking about. I'm gonna put a very tiny bead down first, because you want this to lay flat at the bottom here. So now I have 2 little teeny tots there that they're not gonna really, once I get it all snugged up, you'll see what I mean. They're not gonna wanna vie for attention. They will lay right next to each other there. Okay, so that is how we get a split going. Now I am going to put a bead stopper on one strand, and I'm just gonna start stringing my beads in my desired pattern. One strand at a time, and work on one strand at a time. So I think I'm gonna start at that bottom where that split is with having a couple, like let's say 3 of those teeny tots. And then I'm just gonna alternate between the bicone and the teeny tot all the way up. Just about done, I believe, stringing on this side over here. I did decide to pick up one of my teardrop in the pink. I'm gonna go ahead and measure and see where I'm at. You know, you don't really have to measure. It can be any length you want. And when I measure, I'm concerned about what's gonna go around my neck, right? So I'm only worried about measuring. Let me pull you out a little here. I'm only concerned about measuring, friends, right here from the split, right? Because that's the part that goes around the neck, right? So it looks like from the split, I'm at about roughly an 18-inch, maybe a 19-inch by the time we get our findings on. I am completely fine with that. So let's go ahead and call it good there. And I'm going to show you what I did. Okay, friends, so I'm just about done stringing up my first strand, and I just wanted to do a quick recap, okay? So when we're doing a split, we can do anything down here. You can do even just one focal bead. If you want to just do one focal, that's completely fine. One big bead, it does not matter. You can do anything you want down here. Then you're going to feed that down to your bead stringing wire. Once you have fed that down, you can then establish your split by putting one bead down both wires. then essentially they become split in two again, right? Or you can feed a couple of beads down each strand and then feed one bead down both strands. Do keep in mind, again, those first beads, wherever you start your split, you are going to want to have teeny tots. Teeny tots, tiny seed beads, because you don't want them to vie for attention. You'll see exactly what I mean as soon as we get to crimping this up. But that's where I'm at, okay? So I basically got about 19 inches. And that's good for me. I also decided to put in a little pink teardrop crystal here to transition out of my bicones. And I did rondelles all the way on up, the little teeny tots in the back. And I have a bead stopper there, okay? I am not going to crimp that off until I'm done stringing this side. Now I'm going to do exactly what I did over here on this strand. And I will see you guys back in a minute. And I will show you how to crimp off your single split necklace. Okay, friends, so now I am done stringing, and I made sure that both of my strands are even. And in order to do that, just hold them up, guys, and make sure that at the top you're even here. Let me now show you what we do to crimp this guy off and get it nice and snug at the bottom. I'm gonna zoom you way in. So the first thing I did, friends, is I put my bead stopper directly on the edge of my bead run here, okay? And so we'll leave that guy alone and come back to it. What I'm going to want to do is focus right here at my split. And I'm going to make sure that everything is pushed down, right? Because everything will loosen as your bead, as stringing your beads, right? So the first one is super easy. The second one, we're going to be a little bit more mindful of snugging this up nice and beautifully here, right? So that looks good to me on this side. I'll go ahead and feed on a crimp. And I'm going to pull my tail back around through the crimp and pull my tail. I'm going to make a very, very small loop, and I'm going to attach a jump ring. Now, if you want to put a wire guardian or a clamshell here, you can absolutely do that. I am going to just put my findings directly on today on my bead stringing wire. So I'm just going to make sure my wires are uncrossed here. And we'll make a small little loop. And then we'll go in here with the crimper and crimp that off. And we'll go round and round and shape that into a round bead. Magical crimper is a great crimping technique for this particular style. It just becomes a beautiful transition to the findings as that bead really becomes part of your design, that which was once a crimp tube, right? And then we'll of course go ahead and let's flush cut. And now, same thing. I am going to go over here, now that that guy's done. I'm gonna come over here, friends. I'm gonna remove that. Now what I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna be looking very closely. So do you see that is off there? That's what we do not want. The other thing I want to mention, another little pro tip, warning coming your way, is, my friends, we do not need to really coil a split technique like we normally do. We put some natural bending in our jewelry before we're finishing. We don't need to necessarily do that here. And the reason is because this is pretty much the way it's going to lay on the body, right? So we don't need to do the coil method. And I already have some really beautiful flexible beading wire. So we're all good. We're all good. So again, I'm going to just want to be, and look, see what I just, guys, I totally forgot to use my bead cap. Oh my God, I've lost my mind. Okay, that's okay. There's no bead cap, that's fine, it looks beautiful. I'm gonna be pushing this down now, guys, right? So I'm gonna wanna push that. When I get that pushed down, and I get that laying right next to the other bead, I don't wanna hold that, and get my crimp tube on, and get that snugged up, because it'll just keep loosening up on us, right? And we just kind of want that to be the focal and nice and tidy at the bottom there at your split. So we're essentially crimping each of our necklaces off independently of each other as if they are two different necklaces, right? Okay, so pushing that down, and I'm looking down here that these are laying as close as I can get them to lay. As good as I can get it, right? But there's not any major gaps, there's not. And I'll go ahead when I think that that looks good, I'll go ahead and crimp this off. And let's put our hardware on. And let's see what we've got here. I've got, it looks like quite a few jump rings here. And a piece of scrap wire. We don't certainly need that. We'll grab some chain nose. And we'll just do some extender chain with some jump rings. So I'm going to close those up really well. And I have one closed jump ring, and that'll be for the very last one. And we'll hang our dangle from that. So you can do however many you want here. So I have about a 19-inch necklace. I'm going to do maybe 3, maybe 4 here. It depends how long you want. It's just a little bit of adjustability here. And we'll get that nice and secure. And I do have a couple different gauges here too, friends. This particular jump ring is a 20 gauge. The one that I put on my bead string wire, much thicker than the other ones I just added here. And that's just to give it a little extra security. Stay on my bead stringing wire. And then we'll go ahead and open up that last jump ring. I'll now add my closed jump ring here. And I believe I need one more. One more. I think I'm gonna do an oval here, friends. Let's do a 5mm oval on the lobster. And we'll slide that right on that loop. Close that up. Perfect. And now, friends, let's do this. Let's do a little bitty dangle, and we'll hang that off the back of the extender chain. And I just have a bicone and a 4 and a 3mm rondelle there. And so we'll just make a wire wrap loop on that. So go in there and put a bend in our wire. And we'll come in with a round nose. Up and around, whoops. And rotate the tool, go back over with that wire, straighten that out. I almost wrapped it. Okay, we're gonna fade it on there first so I can have a wire wrap loop like I just literally said. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's just, it's a busy week. It's a busy week, guys, is what it is. Okay, now we wrap it up. And I think I just need to do probably 2 wraps here. I made a super, super small loop here. Oh, by the way, friends, my jewelry, my bracelet I'm wearing today, I believe I made that. That might be in my bracelets playlist. I believe I made that, guys, from one of my earlier bags in the year. I think it may have been April, it may have been May, one of the two. I can't recall, but I know it was May. Anyway, it's in my bracelets playlist. It's just really fun, double strand with a couple of regular overhand nuts and some beautiful leather, some purple leather. Just stunning. Okay, that's all tucked tidy. This beauty is done. And let's take a look. Let's take a look what that looks like. Oh, guys. Yes, yes. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you guys. Let me get it in on the side angle here so you can see the whole thing. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. That's what my crystal split looks like. Project 4 out of Earth.